Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Savannah Berry, and I'm a regional specialized Florida Sea Grant agent based at the UF IFAS Nature Coast Biological Station in Cedar Key. And tonight I'm going to show you how to cook one of my most favorite shellfish, other than boom boom shrimp, of course, and that would be the Florida bay scallop. Now, in order to prepare for this broadcast, I've already washed my hands, so if you haven't done that, that's definitely where you want to start. And I've also put on some salted water to boil since the dish we're going to be preparing is a pasta dish and there's just about nothing I can think of that's more boring than waiting for water to boil. So I went ahead and started that step in advance. I also want to go ahead and talk you through the ingredients that we're going to be using. I've already also shucked my scallops, so of course these are the star of the show. So we're going to be starting with about 12 ounces of meat of the bay scallop. And this is a little bit more than one limit of meat. A limit is about 2 pints, so that's about a pint and a half of scallop meat. We're also going to be preparing pasta. I've chosen whole grain spaghetti, but you can also do linguine or even zucchini noodles if you're looking for a lighter option. I'm also going to throw some feta in with the pasta. I find it's a really nice cheese to use. It has a flavor that complements the scallops well. For the sauce, I'm also going to be using garlic, butter, lemon juice, olive oil, half a cup of white wine, and some dried Italian seasoning. You could also use fresh parsley or dill or any sort of spice mix that suits your fancy. And of course, our old friends, salt and pepper. Alright, so I've already got the water boiling for the pasta, but I haven't gotten it in there yet, so that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to start. And I'm going to go ahead and prepare a little more than half the box because I want to have some leftovers. That's going to be about 4 servings worth of pasta that I'm going to go ahead and prepare. I like to break mine in half. I think it makes it easier to eat later. Some people don't like doing that, but for me it works well. And we're going to cook that just according to al dente. So we'll go ahead and let that keep going there while we get started on the scallops. So the first thing we need to do for the scallops is pat them dry. And the reason that we need to pat them dry is it just helps them sear up a little bit better. So I've got a side bowl here, and I'm going to go ahead and get some paper towels down. And I'll just dump the scallops in there. I had them sitting in a bowl with some ice underneath them to keep them cold while I got everything ready. And we'll just dab them dry with the paper towel. And I hope you guys enjoy the little shucking video that I put together to help you prepare for this recipe. And hopefully you share that technique with your friends as you go forward. Alright, so in order to get the pan ready to sear the scallops, I'm going to go ahead and start it up on medium-high heat. And I'm going to melt a tablespoon of butter in there. Now normally I would steer clear of butter in these type of recipes, but I swam around a lot today collecting these scallops, and so I've gotten lots of heart-healthy exercise. And so I'm not using a lot of butter, I'm just using the minimum amount that it will take to get a nice sear on these scallops. But of course you could use olive oil if you don't want to use butter, or if you're watching your cholesterol intake for any reason, that's certainly an acceptable alternative. Okay, so we've gotten these scallops nice and dry now, and I'm going to remove the paper towels and just season them lightly with a little bit of salt and pepper before we throw them in the pan. I like fresh ground pepper. It's nice and got a nice sharp flavor to it. And this is kosher salt, any kind of salt works. And I'll just mix them up there. And now that I've touched the raw seafood, I am going to give my hands a quick wash. All right, and looking at the pan here, it looks like we've got some nice bubbling going on with our butter, which is what we really want to see before we put our scallops in there. Okay, so now that we've got our butter nice and brown and bubbling, it's time to go ahead and add our scallops into the pan. And scallops do not have a target cooking temperature that you need to get to. You really are just looking to see the meat change into an opaque white from this sort of clear that they look like as they're going in. You want to let them get nice and seared on one side before you stir them. And actually, most of you may already know this, but the part of the scallop that we're cooking right now is just what's known as the adductor muscle. And this is the muscle that they can flex to actually snap their shell closed, and it's the reason that they can actually slightly swim through the water as well. And this part of the scallop is the safest part to consume because it doesn't have anything to do with their gut or their digestion. Scallops are, of course, filter feeders. But we're able to harvest them from a wider array of waters than filter feeders such as clams and oysters, which are more regulated, are harvested from, and that's because we typically only eat the muscle for scallops. Alright, so the meat is starting to look pretty nice and opaque, so I'll just give it a couple more seconds there in the pan. Okay, so now that those are finished, I'm going to go ahead and set them aside. Cast iron is definitely wonderful because it delivers even heat, but it is certainly heavy. That's a two-handed pan, I can assure you. Alright, so those scallops will be fine setting aside while we wait. And now I want to show you a process that's really cool, and it's known as deglazing. And so we're going to get this pan, you'll see there's lots of really nice brown bits left inside it. So to some of you, this might look like a dirty pan, but this is actually the makings of a wonderful homemade sauce. So this is what's left over from our seared scallops, and we want to make use of that through a process known as deglazing. So in order to deglaze this pan, we're going to turn the heat back on. And we're going to keep that heat pretty high because what we want to do is we're going to add our wine into the pan so that it rapidly boils and removes all of this wonderful brown stuff that's left over from searing our scallops in that lovely butter. So I've got a half a cup of white wine. And then after we add the wine, we'll go ahead and add our lemon juice and garlic as well. And I'm going to go ahead and, this is a brand new thing of minced garlic. You can use garlic chopped up from cloves if you want. I'm just happening to take this shortcut. Alright, so this pan is heated back up again, so I'm going to go ahead and begin the deglazing by adding this wine. And you can see that wonderful boil, and that's picking up all of the wonderful stuff off of the bottom of this pan and starting us off with a really nice base for our sauce. And you just want to sort of help it along by scraping the bottom and rubbing the bottom with your spatula. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add some garlic. It's about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. I like to use a little bit of extra when I'm using the pre-mince because I find it's a little bit less potent than the stuff you chop fresh. Also go ahead and juice our lemon. Right into the sauce. And I have little cuts on my fingers from shucking the scallops earlier, so that lemon juice feels really nice right now. Ouchie. Try to avoid the seeds with using the strainer. And at this point, if your sauce is looking good, you can reduce the heat a little bit. It doesn't need to stay on super high heat the whole time. Alright. And I bet our spaghetti is nearing doneness. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little test, see how that's doing. Yep, that's definitely done. We'll turn that off and get that draining. I'm just gonna take it over. I've just got a strainer over here in the sink. Hold on a moment. And we're actually gonna use that pot to meld everything together in and mix it, so you can keep that there. And I'm going to return that to the pot. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. Just to prevent sticking while we finish up our sauce here. And I'm also going to add my herbs at this point. I don't have any specific recommendations for the amount. If you're using fresh, usually would use a little bit more than for what you would use dried. And that Italian seasoning tends to be pretty potent. And I'm also going to finish this sauce off with just a little bit more butter, about a tablespoon more. Because we've got a lot of pasta in there, so we want to make sure that we can get it coated with this yummy sauce. Alright, that sauce is ready, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off so it stops cooking. And now it has come time to pretty much throw everything together in this pasta pot. So I'm going to grab my feta cheese here, and I'm just going to crumble it into the pasta. It'll get nice and melty. You could chop it up if you want, but honestly that's just a waste of a time and a cutting board because that feta crumbles very nicely. And we'll go ahead and also add our scallops right into that mix. Just wash the feta off my hands a little bit there. And now for the fun part with the very heavy pan is to transfer our sauce in. Pressure's on to do this well for you all right now. We'll start by getting it all to one side. It'll help us out a little bit. Alright. Cast iron on cast iron. Helping each other out here. It's definitely worth the extra hassle with cast iron because you get such even heat on your food as long as you just practice a little bit of extra safety and remember how heavy the pans are. Or maybe you're lucky and have really strong wrists, but either way. Now we've got everything together here in the pan and it just looks wonderful. And the last step is just to stir together. And you can serve this with any vegetable or salad on the side. I've served it with just a simple Caesar salad or garden salad goes really well. Add something green and a little lighter. But it's really up to you what type of vegetable you would like to serve with this. Alright, so it's all stirred together and it's ready to serve. And I really hope that you guys enjoy your scalloping experience. And also there's many other recipes out there on the Florida Sea Grant website and also through the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services through their seafood section of their website. They have a lot of great ways to prepare local seafood such as bay scallops. And you can also learn a lot more about bay scallop biology and how to be a sustainable scalloper by checking out the Florida Sea Grant Recreational Scalloping page or reaching out to any Sea Grant agents that are in the Nature Coast region. Alright, well, I can already tell you that I'm going to enjoy this pasta, and I hope that you guys will all cook along with this video at some point and share your scalloping experience with us at Florida Sea Grant.